Yes, this is another episode of the Purpose Pod, and I'm your host, Alan Levi Speaks. Today is going to be a great day. I'm excited, and my phone is loud. Okay, so the main goal of this Purpose Pod is to get you inspired and to push you forward by power and faith in your mission statement, in your life, and whatever it is you're doing. We're going to grind, we're going to get you ready. But today we have a special guest, Mr. Victor Durrah, and I'm about to bring him on right now. Let's bring on Victor. What's up, Victor?
I'm about to pull a Teddy. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Is it working? What's going on, Victor?
What's going on, man? You doing all right?
Man, I'm good. I just like broke a sweat doing all of that right there, man. That was for you, brother. I had to get it hot. I had to get ready for you, brother. How you doing today, man? Go ahead and just introduce yourself, brother, and let the people know who you are and where you're from.
Gotcha. My name is Victor Durrah, Jr. I'm from Spartanburg County, the bird, but actually from a small town in Spartanburg County called Cowpens, South Carolina. Want me to go into,
I was about to ask you what that shirt was on. I just threw it up like, I didn't want to, gangbang and
But yeah, so that's what
What's your shirt all about?
What's that now?
What's your shirt all about?
Yeah, so my homeboy, he runs his own clothing company. He does art. He paints on anything. That's what his sign says. I paint on anything. Yeah. He's came out with a brand to really represent Spartanburg, South Carolina, 864. So we're just trying to support him in his entrepreneurship for sure.
Throw out that tag real quick. What's the Instagram or social media site they can go to for that?
Milo's Customs. At Milo's Customs.
At Milo's Customs. That's dope. So you're attached to a lot of dope people, bro. Like I'm just honored to be attached to you, man. Like I'm just attached to the dopest man alive, bro. Like I remember just first meeting you, bro. Like I was inspired initially off of our conversation, just the way you were able to break things down for me. I'm over here searching for information on nonprofit, working on my nonprofit while you were reading your book, chilling, and you, every time I see you, you're reading a book, bro. You and your fiance, you're always reading a book, and that inspires me. So I just, hats off to you, bro, because you're always grinding, bro. Always.
So let me throw in a plug real quick. Can I speak?
Oh, thank you, sir. Oh God. Oh, yeah, that's he bought my book.
If you're looking for a great book, a book of poetry, check out Alan's book, Can I Speak? He goes from childhood into his military life, post-military life, and talks a little bit about his lived experiences. So salute to you, brother. Young brother doing big things. So I salute you.
Thank you, man. See, that's what I'm talking about, man. I appreciate that, bro. But I was, when you bought my book, I was like, yo, this guy is the truth. Like you didn't like say, hey, man, you know what? Catch me in a month. I got you. You were like, yo, oh yeah, let me go ahead and get that book right now. So, man, off of our conversation, bro, I knew you were legit, man. You're legit.
Most definitely, man. We spend money on all types of things. When you get a chance to support your brothers and sisters, especially when they're doing positive things, I feel like that's important. Because one day I'm going to ask you for a favor. You know what I mean? And I expect the same exchange in return. So, no, keep doing what you're doing, man. I'm always going to support whatever you have going on.
Thanks,
and this book has been very inspiring. I told you the other day I had to go back and read it again.
Yeah.
Like deep.
Yeah. It's deep. It's a little deep right now. Yeah, man. But you, man. So yeah, that's how we met overall, y'all. We just let y'all in a little bit of how we met, and just continue to meet dope people wherever you are in life. Just continue to connect. Don't be afraid to talk to people, connect with people, because Victor was approachable, and he was just straight up transparent and real, when you get the authentic person, that's the best thing ever when you meet the authentic person, who they are. It's real from there on, and you haven't changed. You've always been there when I had questions, even with my nonprofit, man. And we're going to jump in, but I just want to let people know about the foundation of how we met, man, and how I was just completely lost in the nonprofit world. I had my 501c3, my nonprofit, but I didn't know where to go. And you gave me that direction. So I was like, man, this guy is definitely on his stuff. So we'll get into more of Victor's story soon. So y'all stay tuned for that. But so how are you handling the pandemic, man? Like, how are you staying busy? Like, what are you doing?
Right. So I will tell you, like, I'm a little anxious, simply because you know how we are. We're always on the go, project after project, committee after committee, serving on different boards, very active in the community. So I stay on go a lot. A lot of my career has been built on relationships, and being able to develop different relationships throughout the community and outside my community. So being in, it has been the gift and the curse in a way, to be honest, because I really want to be out. There's some things I had set to do this spring that have been, I would say put on pause for this moment. But I tell you what, my fiance, she's given me a different perspective on this time. We spend a lot of time with God. We spend a lot of time in His Word through devotionals. She does holy yoga, so we do meditation, holy yoga meditation. I've also been doing a lot of reading and a lot of evolving my mind and perfecting my craft. I sent you over a link the other day from Harvard, where they're giving some free online courses. So I looked into that. That was given to me by a friend that I have a relationship with, and not only that, I'm on every Zoom call that you can think of that's revolved around community. I joined the NAACP Zoom call. I'm in my in the census Zoom calls, the Spartanburg County Foundation Zoom calls. So I still try to stay as active as I can using the tools that we have, especially us millennials that do know how to get on a computer and set up and do a Zoom call. So I use those platforms daily. And just to stay active and to stay up with what's going on during this time. So I take walks. We walk every day. And I try to exercise. So just trying to keep the mind going, and keep my physical up. So yeah, man.
In spirit too, looks like.
Keeping you busy,
Facebook keep you busy, but you've been doing mind, body, and spirit, bro. You say you've been meditating, doing holy yoga, praying, reading the Word, reading books. So you're taking this time to sponge and soak up everything that is good for you, and it seems like it's doing you good, brother.
Yeah. Hopefully I come out of this thing better than I went in. God made it like this for a reason, right? We got to use it, use it, for His glory. So
because you're taking that approach, and it seems like your fiance is also on the same track as you. Like, y'all are running the same race instead of her running like 8 laps. You're like, y'all are both running 8 laps, and y'all are like, look, we're gonna be out of this pandemic, and we're gonna come out on top. And that's dope, right there. You try to keep up. Over there like, hold on, baby, hold on. But so you're heavy in the nonprofit sector, and we just, as you said just now, you went on the NAACP, you were drawing in their stuff, you were getting in, and you're finding all of these resources. So let's go back to the beginning and Genesis of Victor, and talk about how you went and got your bachelor's degree in nonprofit administration and management. And kind of how you got into the nonprofit sector.
Right. So I initially started school at Spartanburg Methodist College, one of the
Mm-hmm.
greatest colleges in America, hands down. But I went on a basketball scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and played 2 years at Spartanburg Methodist College,
Yeah.
and had a great um, college experience there, on and off the court.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and from there, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I was a
Yeah.
young athlete.
Yeah.
I just knew it was about basketball. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I was introduced to the service realm when I attended USC Upstate and joined Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity.
Okay.
Go to the dudes out there. Um, and I was very heavy in community service from that time. I think a large percentage of our fraternity brothers at the college worked for the Boys and Girls Club of the Upstate.
Okay.
So when we would do community partnerships, we would partner with the Boys and Girls Club, the local Boys and Girls Club in Spartanburg,
Mm-hmm.
to do a lot of different things. So it was kind of like it was a God thing because I grew up in the Boys and Girls Clubs myself
Okay.
in Cowpens. I was a part of the first class that went through the first organization in Cowpens.
Yeah.
So to be back and give back in that way, it kind of opened my eyes. And I thought I wanted to teach, actually.
Oh
Um,
wow.
wanted to pair it with coaching,
Mm-hmm.
and teaching didn't work out. And
Yeah.
in a way, I'm glad it didn't work out. But I could not get past the praxis to save my life, man. You
Really?
familiar with praxis?
No, I haven't. I no, I probably wouldn't get past it either. Though.
Well, all the teachers out there listening, they know about that praxis, but
Yeah.
I couldn't get past the praxis. So I was at a crossroads.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't take any more courses. I couldn't move on or advance until I figured out, how I was going to pass this praxis.
Yeah.
And God intervened.
Mm.
And that particular year, they brought in the nonprofit administration and management degree.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
A lot of the courses that I had already kind of were still on track
Mm-hmm.
with what I was wanting to go into with nonprofit administration and management.
Yeah.
And from that point on, not only was I giving back service wise, but I was being taught how to run an organization from an administrative side of things.
Mm.
So a lot of times when I talk nonprofit work, I don't just speak on behalf of programs and initiatives and things like
Yeah.
that. Those things are very important.
Mm.
I've seen both sides of them. But the piece that I was passionate about coming out of college revolved around the administrative side.
Mm.
I remember being in class and our professor asking us, how many of you all are here to work for a nonprofit? And, number of people raised their hands. And he
Yeah.
said, how many of you all are here to run or start your own nonprofit? And there was only like two of us that raised our hands.
Wow.
The fact of the matter is, the things that we were being taught was not to be a grant writer or a program
Mm-hmm.
director. We were being taught how to administratively run a nonprofit.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. So
Yeah.
that's how
That's
it started.
that's dope, man. And I'm hearing you say like in the beginning, you were like a lot of us are in our younger years. We're like, man, I don't know what I want to do or what doors open. And you saw God's hand open the doors for you, even though it may have looked like the doors were closing. It was just maybe the wrong doors were closing and the right doors were opening. So I just see God's hand all over your story right there. With joining Kappa Alpha Psi. And getting into mentoring the youth that's just dope right there. So, and I'm pretty sure when you were standing in the beginning of your journey, you didn't see you coming out on this side of running nonprofits and managing nonprofits, you know?
You know, it's unheard of in our industry for minorities to work on the administrative side of nonprofits. And I'm not a guy that just comes up with stuff. Statistics show just here, probably nationwide, that the number of African American male and female, especially male, don't have opportunities or aren't executives. Even if you think about the nonprofits that you know of, even from a mentoring standpoint or whatever, you're probably going to see a majority of the African Americans working in program management positions and service areas, which there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's being given their particular assignment in life. So I'm not trying to belittle it, but I do meet a lot of folks who are passionate about running an organization because they have an entrepreneurial spirit, right? So, you know, no, I didn't imagine it. I said I thought that, you know, I was going to be coaching and teaching in some form of fashion, but never on the side of, you know, running a nonprofit.
Yeah. So the educational background of, you know, being able to go to college for a bachelor's degree in nonprofit administration and management puts you in a better place, you know, for running an actual nonprofit versus maybe like someone like me. You know, I haven't had any courses. I didn't go through any training. I just was like, I had the heart for it. I had the desire to do it. You know, and thank you for sending that link to me as well for the course. But a lot of people start off where I'm at. You know, they don't have the ability to go to college maybe. And we talked about just taking some courses and getting certifications, right? We talked about that the other day. So those are the options that are out there, right? People can take courses online and get better at it, right?
Right. I think the one thing in nonprofit work that is totally different from business is the fact that you can actually volunteer. You can actually join boards. You can actually go and shadow folks without it being that complicated. You know what I mean? Because it's about volunteering. I'll tell you, when I was at USC Upstate, it wasn't the classes that ultimately made me who I was today. That just sparked my interest, right? And that gave me some knowledge and tools. But the one thing about my courses is that 90% of it was out in the community.
Okay.
So I was, I worked and volunteered for a lot of different organizations before I came out of school. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the papers and things that I was writing on, it was like, you know, why is board management so important? Why is volunteer management? Why are ethics so important? So they would send me to these different organizations, and I would go out and, you know, pick up trash at garden. I wouldn't go out and pick up trash places or go and mentor a group of kids. I was sitting beside the CEO or the COO or the board chairman. I was learning what they did on an everyday basis from an administrative side. You know, so I think those experiences and those opportunities to be exposed to what was going on made a difference. And I would say for someone who's looking for opportunities to learn more, really sit down with a nonprofit professional that is in your area that you want to get into, and ask them to let you shadow, let you volunteer, let you serve as their admin. Admins know it all. You know what I'm saying? They know the CEO's job. They know the grant writing job. They know,
Right.
you know a little bit about everything. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that opportunity for me just through that exposure, and that's why I'm really big on internships.
Yeah.
I interned for the Boy Scouts of America, 3 or 4 years before I actually started working for them as a fundraising executive and district executive.
Yeah.
So that made all the difference, because if you're not exposed to anything but volunteering or program management,
You're only going to know that level.
you're only going to know things from that level, right?
Yeah. That's facts though. And you did something that a lot of us are afraid to do, which is to take our time and learn. Like a lot of us want to jump in and just do it, but you had a seat at the table pretty much, and when you put yourself, you taught us something very very valuable right there, bro. Is when you sit at the table with leaders and people in authority and people who have a lot of knowledge, you can gain that knowledge. You can soak up that knowledge. It's like sitting at the foot of God. If you sit at the foot of God, you're bound to soak up so much knowledge from being there, right? Being a right-hand man is important. You know what I mean? So that's dope, bro.
I want to touch on what you just said. Like,
yeah,
despite everything that happened with how I got here, when I was in college, I went to church every Sunday. I was at Cornerstone Baptist Church every Sunday. And, the fact of the matter is, none of this stuff really doesn't happen without God. You know what I'm saying? So because my mom fundamentally had us in church when I was younger, you know what I'm saying, that never left me. So God had a lot to do with where I am today. And I know people want to hear the practical, how did you get here? But, it all started with God.
Yeah.
And him really just giving me a vision. I met my mentor at the church, and I actually worked for my mentor, which he's an executive director, one of the few Black executive directors here in Spartanburg County, which ended up being my pastor in the long run. Final. So, and he serves as my board chairman now. So it's just those kind of relationships, you know what I mean? Over time. But I don't think without God any of that happens.
Right. And that's a fact though, because I mean he says he knows the plan that he has for us, plans to prosper us and not to harm us, plans to give us hope in the future. So like that's obvious. And to the non-believer or to the person who doesn't understand God, they'll say, well, Victor, how could God set all of this up? Or, but you even paid homage to the doors closing, you not passing that test. You were like, yo, I couldn't pass it. I couldn't get past it. And you didn't say, well, it's God's fault I didn't pass it. You were just like, well, it's not a part of his plan. This is a part. So you've accepted the path that God has for you, which is so powerful. And I think that makes, and I'm going to say this, it makes you powerful, but people don't trip. I'm saying it makes you powerful because God wants you to walk in power and authority. So knowing who you are and having that vision is just awesome in itself, bro. So yeah, I'm learning a lot from you even right now, but even before that, when we were having our conversations. So just being patient, because with me, I want to get the nonprofit up, get the building up, get all the summer camps up and do all of the stuff. But it starts with, you got to learn how to run the nonprofit. So leading into my next question is like, the difference between program management and nonprofit management. Like what's the difference? Because I don't know what I am actually. I'm just managing. I don't know what I am. I founded it, but I gotta learn more. So
all right. I'm gonna be honest with you. You can't have one without the other. Program management is so essential to nonprofit management as a whole. You can't have one without the other. But the one thing that I see, especially for those of us that have a big vision, that we feel like we can carry out, and we want to help people, and we are very good at putting on programs. We are very good at bringing people in and mobilizing them to help for certain programs. Shout out to brunch and ties event.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we, you know, when I talk to people about program management versus nonprofit management, nonprofit management is what I call back of the house work. You know what I'm saying? If I say back of the house work, I mean administrative things, handling the fiscal management, the volunteer management, things concerning law, you know, policy making, strategic planning, payroll, the different statutes and laws that are concerning your specific 501c status. So those are things within itself that I think a lot of grassroots nonprofit organizations get stuck. They have a great program. They're out doing these wonderful things in the community, right? They apply for their 501c3, right? And then they're like, okay, I should be able to go and talk to somebody and they should be able to give me some money and be able to do what I do. And it's just going to be all good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think you have to understand the overall meaning behind nonprofit management so that you can understand what side of the fence as you know, as you go out and do this work, really figure out like, do I want to be the executive director, you know, president, CEO, and really worry about the fiscal management, the management of volunteers, the management of staff?
Yeah.
A lot of people think, well, I've got this great program and I'm out doing X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. I got the 501c3, but the 501c3 does you no good if you can't handle the finances and things that come with that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's only so much you can scale out to do, and you can't do everything. And I think a lot of people, when you get involved in nonprofit administration, it's not a Vic thing anymore. It's not an Allen thing anymore. You know, it's a director's thing. You know what I'm saying? Like the first meeting that you should have is trying to figure out who your board chair is and who else is going to serve with that board chair.
Yeah.
Then you all need to come up with a strategic plan around not just the mission and the vision and the programs, but how you guys going to maintain that with the resources that you have.
Yeah.
Whether that's through fundraising, whether that's through grants, or whether that's just through financial support from supporters. So, you know, it's bigger than just the things that we see. You know what I'm saying? Like we see all the great works, all the kids get mentored, and, you know, we see those things, but you know, when you really think about nonprofit management versus program management, they're just two totally different arenas, but they connect to each other because you can have all the finances, but if you don't have a mission for it to go towards, it doesn't work. You have a super duper mission, but if you don't have the funding, how much can you do?
Right, can't do much unless it's out of your pocket. And that's something that I ran into, and I wish you were there with me in 2017, 18 when I first started, because I was, you know, I did a lot of what you said not to do. You know, and I did a lot of what you're saying that we, you know, I started off building a board, but I didn't know how to build a board, you know, so it's like you said, like, you know, we see the things that nonprofits have to do. Like I can Google, what does it take to run a nonprofit? And then Google says, oh, you need a board, you need mission statements, you need this and that. But, you know, it's just not, that's not it. You know, it's more to it. So I think for me, and this is good for me, I'm soaking up. I mean, my guests, I love y'all, but I'm over here eating too, baby. So I want to ask you on the lines of this, how do you select your board? Like, how do you do that?
You know what? I tell you, like, when you think of a board, you want to think about your mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the mission of your nonprofit?
To help at-risk youth and veterans, but we're changing that right now.
Okay.
So we're to bring hope to at-risk youth and veterans with PTSD.
Awesome. So, my mission is to restore the urban community through group mentorship, leadership training, and spiritual guidance. So as I think about my mission, right, the first thing I want to think about is who out there that I have relationships with, or maybe that I don't have a relationship with, but maybe somebody that I know has a relationship with them that can value to not only just give me money, like that piece. If you're a good nonprofit, is going to happen, right?
Right.
It's somebody who can advocate for you in circles that you can't reach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So therefore, I might get an executive. I might have a lawyer on my team, just to give me some feedback and guidance on the different laws and stuff. Of course, I want somebody, maybe a school board member, because I want them to be able to basically go back out into the schools and say, hey, Victor has a great program. You know what I mean? You may want to have somebody in the political realm that can advocate on behalf of your organization. You want to think outside the box and really think strategically, like, like who are the best people in my community that I want to be involved, that really care about at-risk youth.
Right.
That's my first thought. Like, who ties to my mission? You know what I mean? And then who has influence beyond my reach? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's how relationships are formed. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, you're not just going to go and, there's just some circles we don't run in. But if you get somebody who's attached to somebody that's attached to somebody, that's how you move your way up. So you just got to think about it as a relationship pool. And a lot of times, small nonprofits put together people that they're close to. You know what I'm saying? People that they can trust. Like it's a business venture. You know what I mean?
Right. What it's not.
It's so much bigger than that. Because these are the people who are going to be putting the word out on your nonprofit. These are people who are going to eventually support financially and bring other partners in to support financially. And so you need influential people on your board. And they have different strategies and things out there, prospecting and evaluation, where you bring a steering committee together, a group of influential people in your community. And maybe you don't ask them to be on your board, but what they do is they give you 5 to 10 names of people who would be good for your mission. Now you just duplicated the process. Instead of ringing your mind through 20 or 30 people, you've got 5 to 10 people, right? And they're flushing out names to you. And then if those names are people that they've given you, guess what? They're going to go help you make that ask. Yeah. Because they got the relationship. Right. So you just have to use your relationships wisely when you're thinking about board members, and don't shortcut the process. You know what I'm saying? Don't just get somebody for namesake. Don't just get your homeboy because you can trust them. You know what I'm saying? You got to get people who are going to work. You got to think about people who are going to work, and those who are really, involved in the community, they're going to be harder to get to because they're probably on a board. But what you want to do is maybe not ask them for this year, maybe say 2 years or 3 years out. You say, hey, I know you're super busy, but I would love for you to serve as my board president or on my board 2 years from now. Yeah. Have a proposal with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, like, be legitimate. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to go sign LeBron James to an NBA contract. You know what I'm saying? Like, come legit. Like, tell them exactly what you need from them. You know what I mean?
Just don't go up there with the idea. have something solid with you.
Right. Because I mean, think about it. If they're going to give their time to the board, they want to know like they're going to spend their time on something legit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you want to put them around other legit people also.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So from what I've seen in you and from going to the sneaker ball guy, like that was just the sneaker ball was, let me quick plug. Sorry guys, pause. The sneaker ball, what was 500, 600 people at the sneaker ball, and Bruh Mentor, the organization you've co-founded, put on a great gala, and my wife and I, we had a great time there. It was a ball. Like, how do you put on something like that? You got to be connected to so many people. You got recognized for different things during Black History Month. Like, just speak on that. Like, how do you utilize those resources, the people that you've branched out to connect to throw on something like that?
That sneaker ball gala was a long time coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I work for a local nonprofit organization here in Spartanburg for a long time as a fundraising executive, and I was also running Brothers Restoring Urban Hope.
Okay.
You know, and to your point earlier when you were talking about how you start off and you have this big vision and you want to do so many things. To your point, I was the same way. And we started our nonprofit while we were in college, like in class. You know what I'm saying? Like,
like in class.
out of school, you know what I'm saying? Like we started in class. We applied for our 501c3 in 2006. So, you know what I mean? Like it was a long time coming. You know what I'm saying? We started in 2005. You know, I was still in school. So that was 15 years, you know what I'm saying, of relationship building, of partnerships, of service and mentoring. So when you look at, you know, who all turned out, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you remember during my speech, I asked who all has either mentored, worked with us, you know, came and spoke, sat on a panel, worked with a kid, you know, wrote a grant for us, whatever the case may be. Like I really literally say like 80% of those people have worked with Bruh Mentor over the 15 years in some form or fashion. You know what I'm saying? So, but that wasn't an overnight process. You know, for my first 8.5 years, I couldn't do any fundraising whatsoever because I had a non-compete clause in my nonprofit that I was working for. So I couldn't do any fundraising. I couldn't go after the donors or, you know, or any of those, you know, sponsors that we had. We had a bunch of sponsors, but I think that takes time. You know what I mean? That takes time. Relationships take time. And I can't say that we would have had that same turnout in year 5 or 6. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it takes time to get to that point. You know what I mean? And it fell in right timing. We were celebrating our 15-year anniversary. It was homecoming. That was strategically set. We knew there would be a lot of people home. It was Black History Month. That was strategically set. We knew that, you know, we had an opportunity there to share the platform, not only for Bruh Mentor, but with USC Upstate, which was one of our presenting sponsors, because that's where it all started at. So that was kind of the strategic mindset in that, and it just worked out, and it was a beautiful event, and we were able to share our resources with other people who were trying to get where they want, and we were able to celebrate Black philanthropy. You know what I'm saying? If you pay for a $60 ticket, you're a philanthropist. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, I mean, it was Black History. It was beautiful. You know what I mean?
It was, man.
And it wasn't about the sneaker ball gala. It was just about the celebration of service and mentoring and giving back to the community, and to be able to mobilize that many people from all walks, white, Black, you know, Charlotte, Black people from Florida coming down. You know what I'm saying? Like, people traveled out here to see what was going on. So, but that came from years of preparation to get to that point. That didn't just happen overnight. And relationships upon relationships, not just with my peers, but in the corporate world also, from sitting at those different tables and things like that. And being connected to some creatives here in the community that are just solid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Frank Zombie, Milo's Custom, Smith the Lee, Veranda Crawford, good gosh, I don't want to even forget, so I'm gonna stop naming, you know what I'm saying? John, you know what I'm saying, to be able to put their artistry on display, you know what I'm saying, for the community. That was a collaboration. That wasn't just Victor you were seeing. You know what I mean? That was community you saw.
Yeah, that was dope. So because you had a band, like I'm like, dude, this dude got the whole nine set up. Like it had to take some planning because it was so perfect, and I'm pretty sure you could look at different things yourself as a person, throwing it and be like, oh, I would change this, I would do this, but it was just beautiful, man. So and I stood there whenever you asked like who was a part of our volunteering and fundraising, and people raising their hand. Me and my wife, we're just standing there like we came here to support and eat.
Because you should have raised your hand because the simple fact that you drove in from Charlotte.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
I don't take anything for granted.
Yeah, no. And I felt obliged to come, not just because you bought my book, but because of the knowledge that you gave to me in the short amount of time that we've known each other, bro. Like you've given me so much knowledge. I probably have some papers around here, just some stuff that you've told me that I just wrote down and was like, yeah, I gotta remember this. So I see how you. I mean, I could only imagine the 15 years of you creating a relationship just had to be dynamic. And I'm a relationship builder as well. So like you're just me times 10 and a whole nother level, and I'm just like
you're younger though, right?
Yeah, I'm 31, I'm 31.
Yeah, so you probably passed me.
And man, I'm trying to be like you, bro. Look, I was like, I wish I had this guy around 15 years ago, right? And I'm still on the subject of relationship and building relationship to run your program or to run your business. You've mastered that and you've learned patience. That's the number one thing that kills a lot of business owners and nonprofit leaders maybe is patience. Like if they can't wait for the baby to be born or the thing that you desire to do to be born, and you might tap out early. You could have walked away probably a couple of times. Were there ever days like that?
There were days when I was out in the community and I would see like with Brothers Restoring Urban Hope, like where we differ from your ordinary nonprofit organization is the fact that most nonprofits have their own set of kids that they work with, right? And they have their staff, you know what I'm saying? Primarily, your Boys and Girls Clubs, well, I wouldn't say all of them because Big Brothers Big Sisters does one-on-one mentoring, whereas we do group mentoring. But the need that I saw was when kids graduate from high school, they can't go back to the Boys and Girls Club, right?
Right.
You age out of the Boy Scouts of America at a certain age. You know what I mean? Even Big Brothers Big Sisters, I think, has, an age requirement. What happens to those 17, 18, 19, and 20-year-olds? You know what I'm saying? Like, are we just totally done with them? You know what I'm saying? Like, they still need programming. You know what I mean? And what we want to do from the standpoint of what we provide is opportunities for those 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds to build relationships with other young professionals. You know what I'm saying? That come from where they've came from. You know what I mean? That have some of those same lived experiences. We can't let them slip in between the cracks. And the reason why I like group mentoring is because when you come with a large group or number of people, you're going to get different personalities. You're going to get different backgrounds. You're going to get different, just a different variety of folks together, and you never know how they might mesh with some of our clients. So the other thing where we differ is that we don't have just a set group or whatever. Like, organizations can contact us, and we've had partnerships with Spartanburg Methodist College, Harvard. In the past, we had one of our largest grants through the Spartanburg Housing Authority, and just different organizations. So we kind of take the network of those folks that you saw that raised their hand, and we go in as a unit and do some group mentoring and some relationship building. I think one thing that our youth lack, and even some of us lack, is relationships. Yeah, I'm talking about influential relationships.
Right, influential relationships.
I need a job. What you got type relationships. You know what I mean?
Right.
How many people can you call right now if you lose your job tomorrow that you can call and say, "Hey, I got you"? But there are other segments of the community, particularly the white community. They have those relationships in place. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things that we've got to look at and say, how do we build social capital amongst our peers, amongst our network, and even beyond that, and even sharing that with some of those youth that get left in between the cracks. There's no reason why a youth looking for a part-time job should be able to call Alan or Vic and say, "Yo, I need a part-time job." There shouldn't be any reason why I shouldn't call up one of my people that I know and say, "Yo, I got a great kid, job." You know what I'm saying? Like, that should be the least you can do.
Right. And that's the awesome idea, bro, because it's positioning. You want to make sure that you're positioning yourself so that you can be a resource. And the person that kills the community, in a sense, is the person that doesn't make themselves a resource for the community. So, I do see that. Like, I mean, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I didn't know where to go. I was like, what do I do? I got to go to college, I guess, and I just ran right to college.
And you have a huge network. It's the Marine Corps.
I know, exactly. But so you're talking about relationship now. So, like, relationship isn't just like, oh, I know I got so-and-so's number. Like, if I just got your number and never spoke to you after that, that's not a relationship. It's just like we both have busy schedules, but it may be like, oh yeah, we'll sit there and chop it up, and have a conversation. So I see what you're saying about, like, the community needing something just like Bruh Mentor. Bruh Mentor is a gap filler, because you said, there are people who are falling through the cracks after they graduate high school, like a lot of us would have done or did, and they don't know where they're going, and they have no mentors, and everybody's like, let's wait until they're 25, we'll get them back and try to fix them then. But so I respect what y'all are doing with Bruh Mentor. I wanted to open it up for questions really quick. Time is flying, but we was on for 48 minutes already. Can you believe that? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's good stuff. I like that. That's what I'm talking about. You got Curtis. Curtis said, "Big salute. What up, Kendra?" Hey, Kendra, what's up? What's up? What's up, David? What up, Junior? Yeah, we're answering any questions y'all have right now. I'm enjoying the conversation because I'm eating really good right now. And Victor, like, this is a blessing, man, because I am a relationship kind of person. I connect well with people. I'm a networker, but my issue is turning, I have product, but turning product into capital, and not just having product, not just having a nonprofit, making it work for you, and I've stressed out more than ever starting my nonprofit, because I was pulling out my pocket like, oh, let's feed the homeless, or let's put some clothes on the homeless back, and a lot of people when I built my nonprofit, I had friends, like you said, I had friends come on, and they weren't really aligned with the vision. They meant good by it, but they weren't aligned with the vision fully. And I mean, I had people that were, and they were able to go out there and visit people, but it's important to have a whole collective team. So do I start off by just doing research, or contacting a different organ? I mean, I got you right here, of course.
Well,
But
let me speak to that, because I mean that's a loaded question.
okay, and
Before
after
you get that out there, but let me say this. As you think about relationships, you don't want to think about like, and I know you weren't saying that, but you don't want to think about like money or capital and things like that. Like, you just want to be intentional about the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, create a win-win situation. You know what I'm saying? Between the folks that you are trying to network with. And what I mean by being intentional is that it can't be all about what Alan needs. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you evaluate, a relationship and what they can do for you, like, a lot of times it's not going to happen immediately. So you have to cultivate a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Just like you met your wife, I met my fiance, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't just, meet first day, boom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you had to court them, you had to date them, you had to find out what she liked and see if you could put up with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, my bad.
Hey, nah, you're in trouble now. You're in trouble now.
Right. But yeah, and I think it's the same thing with professional relationships. Like, there's not one person that I have a professional relationship with that's meaningful that I wouldn't break my neck for. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could call me right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna give you a story. One of my homeboys, he helped me assemble some stuff here at the house or whatever, and I'm gonna pay him for that. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. He wasn't expecting pay. You know what I mean? But I paid him $100. It was just a little hour job. Boom, in and out, right? He was like, $100? He was like, bro, that wasn't even $50 worth of work. $50 was the labor. The other 50 was the relationship.
The time. Oh, the relationship. Okay. I like that.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. You
know what I mean? Like, if you go to a donor today and they get, and you've done your research, and like, your nonprofit is on point, and it matches up with their alignment for what they want to see done with their dollars in the community, and you look and you ask them for a gift, and that donor, that donor can give you $10,000 gift, right? You know it, hands down. He's given it before. You've seen him give other organizations. You're doing the same thing, but he writes you a check for $500. The difference is only probably just the relationship. You know what I'm saying? They don't know you well enough. They don't know the organization well enough to give you $10,000. You know what I'm saying? It's not your mission. You're probably doing the same exact thing that any other organization is doing. People give to people.
That's true.
That's true. People give to people. I mean, you would think that they give towards missions and things like that, but depending on who's running that organization and how they align with who you are, people are always going to give to people. And I think, over time, you have to work on being genuine and sincere and frank about your needs, but also about, that relationship part, checking up on them, sending them a newsletter about what you have going on, attending their events, you know what I'm saying? Seeing what their interests are, you know what I mean? can't just be all about you every time you meet with somebody. You know what I mean? It'll never work that way.
I think that's a universal law, man, because that it just is just not just for nonprofit. That's for life. Like you want people that align with your mission statement. Like I'm pretty sure you wouldn't click with me if I didn't align with your mission statement of life. You know, like if I was just wasting your time and if I was just, you know, not being serious about what I'm doing, you wouldn't waste your time being on my podcast first and foremost. Like, you know, you probably would be like, nah, actually I can't really, you know, I can't do that because it doesn't align with my mission, you know.
Right.
So that's so dope in the part of building that relationship. Because I want the $10,000 too. look. No, we gotta. Denise has something right here. What is one key lesson you've learned in building your nonprofit? And then the second part is, how did that lesson develop your character along the way?
Right. Could you repeat that first one again? The first part of it?
It says, what is the one key lesson you've learned in building your nonprofit?
Okay. So, and that looks like that's from Janice.
Yeah, that's I'm thanking Denise for putting that out there.
Yeah, I think the one key lesson that I've learned in nonprofit administration and management and just the service field itself is that it takes a team. You know, I've seen various business owners be able to open a storefront, sell clothes, you know, create different things and be just okay. You know what I mean? I mean, can make tons of money, you know what I'm saying? Can employ people in X, Y, and Z. But with a nonprofit, it's never about one person, not even the executive director. Yeah. It's not about one person. You have to understand, too, is that, you know, a nonprofit organization is ran by its board members. You know what I'm saying? I don't own Bruh Mentor. I'm just the executive director, the appointed executive director. The board members own Brothers Restoring Urban Hope. So I had to learn the value of not only building relationships with people, but leading people and working with people. And what was the second part? How did that lesson develop your character along the way? It developed me in so many ways because I've met so many great people along the way. All of my mentors have came through this walk. Hoyt Byron, Mary Thomas, Mr. Charles Atchison. Those are some folks who have poured into me over time, and and they've taught me some valuable lessons along the way. And one of them was just that, Victor, you can't and you don't have to do it on your own. You know what I'm saying? And that alone just showed me like this work is bigger than just myself and what I can do. Especially in building capacity for the organization, you have to work through people. Yeah, that's real right there. And you spoke of Mary Thomas. Mary Thomas just said that's a good example right there. It is true. People give to people. Be genuine. That's right, Miss Thomas. I'm gonna hit you up later if you So Janice got another one. Let me see. I've been reading a lot about loving your neighbor as Jesus loves his neighbor. How have you handled the different personalities you've encountered in building relationships? Oh my God, that's a good question right there. Oh, please, Janice. Well, hey, don't blame me. Blame your girl. Blame your girl. I mentioned earlier in the podcast that outside of these practical examples that I'm giving about leadership, the spiritual side is so imperative to who I am as just a person. You know what I mean? So when she says, you know, she's been reading a lot about love your neighbor as Jesus loves his neighbor, you know, working with different people is not always going to be easy. Oh my God, especially when you're managing or look to as a manager of a lot of different people, you know what I'm saying, with a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different goals, a lot of different motives. But I think for me, God has shown me who I am. You know what I'm saying? And God has put in me, you know what I'm saying? I probably have more patience and grace for people than people have for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't meet a lot of strangers, but I try and meet people where they are. But at the same time, like, it does get hard, but you just have to rely back on, who God said you are. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you have to love your neighbor. I think that's so important. It's
Yeah.
taught a lot of lessons along the way.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure the 15 years of dealing with volunteers, I mean, I'm pretty sure it wasn't always like everyone was there when they said they were going to be there. They did what they said they were going to do, but that did not
You
take
need
you off your course. I had a question though. A lot of people, especially minorities, they don't understand, that that there's money in being an executive, director of an organization. They don't think that they can make a career off of it, So, what's that been like for you? What kind of insight can you give to people who feel that way?
it all depends on what your perception of making a living is. But I will say that people don't go into nonprofit work for the money. Most people, a majority of folks, have a passion for the work they do. They have some type of conviction towards the mission, and I'm one of those people. It's never been about the money, because there's just not a lot of money in nonprofit work, from the standpoint that you would think of from a business wise. But I will say this: the average nonprofit executive, and this is from the Charity Navigator, the average nonprofit executive makes a little over $100,000 a year. That's on average, right? And Andy Calhoun, you guys are in Charlotte, right?
Yep.
Are you familiar with the YMCA of Greater Charlotte? Their president makes $443,000 a year.
Over here?
that was Andy Calhoun, and I know he's gone now. But when he first started, they were bringing in about 43 million in operation, but now it's up to 79 million, probably in county. So, there is money. I don't like to shine light on the money piece,
right?
But I don't like for people to think that there's not money to be made in nonprofit administration work. It just depends on how big the organization is.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, for small or nonprofit organizations, an executive director makes 10% of the overall budget.
Okay.
So you just kind of look at that, you know what I mean?
That's good information, because I mean, like you said, you don't go in for the money.
It's a line item on the budget, salary.
Yeah. And that's a part of the management, right?
Yeah.
Right. That's a part of the management, is figuring out the salary. I think the board is in charge of figuring out or agreeing to the salary. So having the right board, and board members can't make money or salary during, while they're serving on the board. So that's also a good thing to know as well. But yeah, so like, I'm pretty sure people who go in it for the money, like quote unquote for the money, they don't last, because nonprofit work isn't an overnight thing. Like, you just don't get 1 million volunteers. You don't get everyone knowing your nonprofit organization's name. You don't get companies calling you to donate money, and you're not the first person that people think about when they have that $1 million that they want to donate to a nonprofit. So it takes time, and literally, I believe that God has put it in my heart. One, because He's given me so many dreams, and just the desire has been eating at me. I've been wanting to drop out of school for so long. I'm gonna drop out of school, but that's not the process that God has me. That's the easy way out. But the never stop, never quit, repeat thing.
Man, you better get that degree. You better get that degree.
I'm going, bro. I'm gonna finish that. I'm gonna finish, bro. But yeah. So, and my last question, bro, is what would your words of encouragement be to aspiring nonprofit executives?
Right. Here's what I want to say to my African American aspiring nonprofit professionals. Like, if you're going to get into this work and you want to be really good at this work and this is what you want to do, like, do your research. Go and get certifications. Do some volunteering. Like, and the reason why I say do those things is because I want us to be like the sharpest, most competent folks in the room. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't shortcut it. Be intentional about the process.
Yeah.
I tell some of my students and mentees all the time is, I can look at your Facebook or your Instagram in 5 minutes, and I can tell you whether or not I would want to hire you. Like, I mean, you have to be intentional. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just thinking about the arguments between LeBron and Michael Jordan. I was even looking at the Babyface and Teddy Riley the other night, and I was just thinking those guys created that music while they were in high school, bro.
Yep. It was mad young.
So
that's crazy.
I'm just saying, like you have to really like it's not hard if you just do the research. If you really want it, you know what I'm saying? Like, the information is out there. There's so many forums. We got our. I invite you all the time to our Black Leaders in Nonprofit Organization group. Our People of Color in Nonprofit Organization. I mean, but we put out different content and things like that for our folks in nonprofit work. But don't just get the 501c3 and just say, hey, we good. You know what I'm saying? Like, take it to that next level. You know what I'm saying? Like, and really bring in like some folks that will help you with your capacity building. You know what I'm saying? If you're not an expert in that area, just be sharp. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't say that enough. You know what I'm saying? You got to be sharp. You know what I mean? Be the sharp.
You're saying there's room for everybody, right?
Every opportunity. The other thing I want to say is every opportunity is a networking opportunity. Period. I don't care if you at the gym. I don't care if you just lollygagging at Ingles. You know what I'm saying? And meet somebody, like, and keep record of folks that you're meeting with. You know what I'm saying? Like, it does you no good, Alan, to do your brunch this year and have 80 people show up, and then get around it this year and say, man, I got to start this process all over. You should already have 80 people that you're already cultivating for next time.
Right. Exactly.
That takes like a system set up to keep up with, like, yo, these are 80 people that registered. These are their email addresses. I'm going to shoot it back out to them. These are my 80 people that I'm talking with. Of course, I've met 80 more people since then. So like, don't start over. Like, keep good records and really like look at the data. What did it say you were doing last year that you're not doing this year? You know what I'm saying? Like, at what price point are your donors giving? Should you increase that price point? You know what I'm saying? Look at different ways to really like say, yo, like how can I take this $10,000 budget and make it 60,000 or 100,000? How do I take this 100,000 and make it 200,000? But looking at it strategically and getting some folks in that might be able to just do some consultant work for you. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to handle it on your own. That's how we get in mess. You know what I'm saying? Trying to do it on our own. Definitely. Just experts. They're out there.
That's good information, bro, because I'm one of those people that'll try to do every single thing and get so stressed out because, you know, I'm doing everything. So yeah, I'm just like, I get tired thinking about what I have to do sometimes. I'm like, man. But those are, so being intentional, you know, being intentional about everything that you're doing in the whole process is what we need to do. And last thing, I know you guys were planning another gala, but you're doing it for like the junior. It's a junior sneaker ball gala, right?
Yeah. So we just had our 15-year anniversary sneaker ball gala, 2020, which was for our adult supporters throughout the community. And in August, we wanted to come back and put together a junior sneaker ball gala, which would be for our 11th and 12th graders. I don't know how it's going to work out with all the COVID and everything that's going on, but right now the Chapman Center has us down for the first weekend in August to host that. And we want to give them an opportunity to come out. You know, they sneakerheads, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? But also give us an opportunity to award some youth that have been doing very courageous things here in our community, and we want to spotlight them during the sneaker ball gala also, and just show them some love. You know, when I left out of sneaker ball gala for the adults, I received calls from parents. I received a call from Chapman Culture Center saying there were parents saying, you know, when are y'all going to do something for the kids? We had already had it in the plans anyway. So it, you know, I'm glad to see that it's wanted and needed. So we're going to provide an opportunity for them to get out and have a good time and support and get a early chance to get a little bit into philanthropy themselves.
Right. Yeah, that's dope. Is there a way that people could help, people who are not in Spartanburg, or is there a way that we can help?
Yeah, once we get the final details out and things like that, my email is down there below. If y'all just want to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Bruh Mentor. And Bruh Mentor stands for Brothers Restoring Urban Hope. Brothers Restoring Urban Hope. So that's where that acronym comes in. And plus we bros. You know what I mean?
Bros.
It is for males and females. Our organization is, and we're always looking for folks to come and speak to our kids. We're always looking for folks to join us as we go out and do our group mentoring. So always looking to bring people in their different perspectives. And one thing about it, it's not a one-on-one situation where you're just having to be stuck with one kid. You might see, 50 different faces, you know what I'm saying? Right. And, but you're joined in with, sometimes between 60 to 100 and other volunteers at times. So any way they want to get involved, I'm going to rely on you heavily as we move forward to get some sharp participation and get some different views and things like that. So
I'm definitely looking forward to that. I hope we can partner up and do something great as I sit under your wing at the table with you, brother. I hope I can eat wings with you at the table. No, but yeah, man, I'm really excited, not just because of my own life, but because of your life and a lot of other people's lives that I've come into contact with, and I look forward to seeing the greatness, when I go to the next sneaker ball gala and it's 1 million people, and it's not just about the numbers, but just seeing the impact. I think the numbers show the impact and the people that come out to support. it shows the impact. So I just see you having that great big sneaker ball gala because people are invested in Bruh Mentor and you. Like you said, you invest in the person. You know, you don't buy the brand, you buy the person for the most part. So, you know, we backing you up with this gold over here, brother.
Well, let me say this, Alan, man.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get back to your book here.
Oh man,
Can I speak? Y'all pick up this book. You know what I'm saying? It's poetry, and it's coming from his lived experiences, post-war, during the war, and pre-war, and it's awesome. What I want to do is work with you to possibly create a book club for some of our mentees.
Yeah,
we can talk a little bit about the content that's in here. You talk about a little bit of everything from racism to drugs to violence, and you know what that looks like from an African American young man's eyes. But I think sometimes we don't ever get to talk about those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. That's facts.
So I want to get with you, buy some of these books for some of our mentees, and have a book club, and we can do it, you know, virtually, or you can make a guest appearance. But I want to use this book to have some dialogue around some of those topics that usually don't come out, you know, amongst us in our everyday dialogue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to do that, bro. I'm all in already. I was ready when I met you, bro. I'm all ready.
So, Alan, before we get off, tell them about this book. Tell them about this book. Like, what inspired it? What is it about? What can they expect?
Well, I mean, you're gonna get poetry, of course. You're gonna get things you might have to go back 2 or 3 times, like Victor said he had to do. He had to go back a couple of times just to make sure he.
I did. I was like, man,
everything.
What is he trying to say?
I you know, because the reason why I called it, first of all, let's start with the cover. The reason why I called it "Can I Speak?" and I put this poetry over my mouth was because when I went through PTSD, I did not talk about what I was going through. Like I would party with you, I would hang out with you. You wouldn't even know. I would be smiling, like I'd be like, yeah. But inside, man, I was lost. You know, so this tape over my mouth is poetry, because poetry was the very thing that helped me release, you know, the things that it was therapy, man. You know, like I didn't know how ugly it was inside of me until I saw inside of me. It was like, oh, this darkness is there. You know, and it stems from childhood. It stems from just seeing, when I was like 12, I saw my friend die from a car accident. You know, so it's just like you see different things. But people could expect to read about themselves, their cousins, their brothers, their mothers, you know, their whoever. You know, you could read that in this book, and you get a glimpse of other people's worlds as I'm taking you on a journey for the most part, through poetry and other people's worlds. So yeah, brother. I appreciate that plug right there, Vic. You know, man. You know, but yeah, man. I love poetry. I love helping people, and I always told God He's gonna have to make me really wealthy, because I want to bless a lot of people, bro. Like I wish I could write a check to Bruh Mentor and be like, oh, here's a couple of here's a 10.
Alan, that day is coming.
It is coming, brother.
That day is coming, and you will get a ass letter.
Hey, look, just hit me up.
I'm gonna remember with me, because I had a relationship already. And I'm gonna say, remember those words.
Hey, I'm gonna do it though. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stand by my word. I'm gonna do it, bro. I'm gonna do it, man. And the same for you. Hey, bro. But yeah, man, I really appreciate you, Victor, for being on my show today, man. I really look forward to the great things that Bruh Mentor and Victor Durrah are going to do. And you and your fiance, I look forward to seeing what y'all will do in life. You know, and I just speak blessings over your relationship. I speak blessings over your business. I speak blessings over your mind and everything that you create, bro. And I pray that God continues to lift you up as you continue to move forward, brother.
Man, I appreciate you, bro. Thanks for having me on. And
no problem, brother.
You actually inspired me, because I'm going to start my community talks in May, and really focus on community leaders right here and their perspectives here in Spartanburg. So
What
excited
are you doing
about
that on? What are you
but
gonna do that on?
I'm pretty sure we'll chop it up. Man, we don't
Yeah,
been on here an hour and 20 minutes.
we
You can
did.
tell quarantine.
Oh yeah, we quarantined. We ain't, hey, look, you had to be like, you didn't even look. We ain't got to look at your watch or nothing. Everybody, we got 5 people left on here. That's right. We all in quarantine. We're doing our thing out here, baby. We're
Right.
staying live, living large, living in charge. Ain't got no sense. But yeah, we're gonna do a part 2 for sure. We're gonna do a part 2,
For sure.
especially before, hopefully before the junior sneaker ball gala.
Okay.
And so yeah, we could do that. All right, brother. Hey, make sure you guys follow Bruh Mentor. If you have any questions, you can email Victor. If you want to volunteer, if you want to soak up some more knowledge from him, please hit him up. He is the fundraiser guru consultant. Like he has it. Like if you have questions, please hit Victor up, please.
Don't hesitate.
Don't hesitate. All right, brother. Stay blessed.
All right.
All right. All right. Thank you all for joining the Purpose Pod. You just witnessed a great episode with Victor Durrah Jr., and I am excited for his life, his future, and everything. You heard him. He said, check out Can I Speak Book. Make sure you check out Bruh Mentor. Follow them on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, Alan Levi Simmons. If you want to buy some motivation gear, go to shoppersist.com. And yeah, man, this is where the action is. And we're going to be here tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day. So yeah, stay tuned. Peace. I don't know if it ended. All right, there it goes. Bow.